My name's Hutch, I make videos and put them on the internet, and today's Friday, which means it's an episode of Quality Time with Hutch, which means I sit down with a content creator, another content creator in this community, ask them how they got their start, what their life is like now, and then maybe try to ask them some unique questions in the process. Today's episode features Craig, or Mini Lad. He's a friend of mine. I met him through a bunch of mutual friends down here in LA, actually. That's how we got to know each other. And I don't think I've played video games with him yet. I did go to an EDM show with him, partied until all hours of the night, had a really good time. So I figured, hey, why not invite him to come on and get to know him a little bit better. Craig is kind of a powerhouse on YouTube. If you guys didn't already know who he was, he's got, I think he just crossed 5 million subscribers, might have been 4. It's one of the two. But at that point, what's another million? He's got 4 or 5 million subscribers on YouTube, absolutely crushes it these days. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the interview.
Okay, what's up, you guys? My name is Hutch. It's Friday, which means it's Quality Time with Hutch, and I've got a miniature lad with me, and he's a good man.
Hello?
Mini Lad, how's it going, dude?
It's going good. It's going good. I mean, I'm running around like a headless chicken around LA, but you know, life's okay. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm busy, as I imagine you are. How like, what do you work every day?
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I mean, trying to like record the videos I do and then trying to edit like funny moment style and trying to get that done every single day whilst trying to have some kind of life is it'll kill you for sure. I'm probably gonna die by the time I'm 28, but you know, worth it.
Do you take time, like, out of any given year? Do you set aside time to make sure that you're kind of away from the internet and away from work, or is it kind of like a 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 kind of deal?
It's like, well, it's like a 24/7 deal, but like every once in a while, I'll just like stockpile and then just disappear off the face of the earth for like 4 days. So like, on June 1st, I'm heading back to the UK. Just spent a few days with family before. I mean, you know what E3's like.
Sure.
It's a clusterfuck. So I'm just gonna head back for a few days before that, just to, you know, just relax, just take my head out of the system for a while, because I mean, you know what it's like as well. Just like YouTube it'll kill you if you get caught up in like the numbers game and you look what other people are doing and you see this random bullshit video get 100 million views, even though it's nothing. It'll kill you for sure.
The jealousy thing is like something that not too many people discuss, but like there's a fine line between envy and inspiration when it comes to like your pals on YouTube, you know what I mean? And if you catch me in a bad day, sometimes I'll be thinking like bullshit about like my friends. And then like a couple hours later, I'm like, what am I, where's my head at right now? But that's like, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like that's like every kind of good friendship ever, because I mean, friends will tell you like, yeah, you can do it, believe in yourself, and then best friends will tell you to like shut the fuck up and get to work. Or that's how I feel anyway.
Or set realistic goals, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, exactly.
When you got into YouTubing, did you have a goal in mind that you wanted to have like 5 million subscribers and, you know, X amount of views every month, or was it more of like you did it for a couple years and then you realized that was possible and then you worked even harder to get there?
I find the funniest thing is my goal on YouTube was 100 subs. Back in, because I had channels before the Mini Lad channel, which is weird to say because do you ever go to like theme parks, or not theme parks, but like water parks, and you see those like simulated like flow rider surfing machine things?
I have to say I don't think I've been to a water park since I was about 12. Is that like a thing that adults do in LA? Because I'm down. I just never got the invite.
I mean, is there a water park in LA?
There's got to be.
I've never been to Six Flags. I know that's around here somewhere.
Six Flags is incredible. They have the fucking scariest roller coasters that I've ever been on. They will make you shit. There's one I just flat refuse to get on. It's just a straight, like, you know the ones that shoot you straight up and then you fall straight down?
Oh yeah, I know.
It's like that, but
not going on that.
It shoots you up and you're looking to the sky, and then when you fall down, you can't even see. It looks so horrifying to me. I can't do those
What's the name of it? Just so I can like know to like call you when I'm about to go on it.
I don't remember the name of it, but they got a bunch of really good coasters there. So, anyways, as much as I want to talk about roller coasters on this video,
but my first channel was me doing tricks on like this, I guess, surfing simulator thing. And then I realized, yeah, I'm gonna try. I've seen the whole like gaming YouTube side. I won't lie, like I feel like everyone back in the day watched Machinima Respawn. I feel like that's a thing. So seeing all you guys do well and have fun, I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Like I'm gonna try this thing. It was May 2011. I was 16. And it was summer, and you know what it's like in summer in like middle school, high school. You're like, I have no idea what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try and do something. So my aim was like, okay, I'm gonna try and spend 3 months, and I want to see if I can hit 100 subs. That was my goal. And by the end of the 3 months, I got to like 92. But I feel like after doing something for that period of time, like 2 or 3 months, you kind of get into the rhythm of it. You're like, okay, I can see how to improve here. I see how people do this thing now.
Yeah.
Because everyone on YouTube pretty much learned how to edit from YouTube, which is blissfully beautiful.
Yeah.
So once I kind of got into the routine of it, I just stuck with it. And then 2 years down the line, 2013, I was going to university, and I had like 80,000 subs, I'd say. And I went to university, and my university experience was fucking hell. So I signed up for the room, like the flats. What do you call it? Oh, dorm rooms.
Dorm rooms, yeah.
So I got the dorm rooms, and I was stuck in an international flat. So I was the only English-speaking person out of 12 in my dorm. Put it that way.
Wait, so where was the flat? Was it in England?
Yeah, it was. I went to University of Hertfordshire, which is like an hour and a half above London. And I went there for music production. So my original aim in life was to make like film music, like scores.
Yeah.
That was kind of like how I set myself out in life. And then when I got to university, I was stuck in an international flat. I didn't have internet for 2 months, so that was YouTube down the drain.
Yeah.
I couldn't play rugby, or I couldn't swim, which is two big sport things for me, because I was on the same time as my course. And it was just like, and on the third day of being there, my drink got spiked. So, I mean, I was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to do this. So I called my parents, and I was like, hey, I know this is 2 weeks ago that you guys drove over, because my dad lives in Singapore, and he flew back to the UK to drive my stuff from Northern Ireland to England.
Oh, so you bounced after 2 weeks at the
I bounced after 2 weeks.
Well, you know, it's good that you bounced. Like, it's good that you didn't commit like 2.5 months of a semester. I don't know if you guys do semesters over there or what do you do, but
yeah.
But
that's why, like,
yeah, it's
you
good that
know,
didn't
Noah
commit too long.
J456.
Who? Yeah, he just got engaged, right?
He just got engaged, but like, I credit him so much because he basically did what I did. So he started his degree on like 80,000 subs, and he just finished like a few days ago.
Yeah.
And he was like straight doing full-time YouTube and full-time college. I'm just like,
nuts.
and keeping a relationship. I'm like,
nuts.
I have no idea how the fuck you did that, but I have so much credit for you.
You're single, right?
Yeah. So like, I mean, I've had 2 really bad relationships. So for the last year, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend time to myself. I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna relax. Because I mean, like, out of everyone in LA, I feel like everyone in LA is between like 25 and 40. That's kind of like the age range that everybody is. And I'm kind of like the fetus out in the corner being 22. So I know I have like a little bit of time on my hands. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy just doing myself for a while.
I think that's the way to go, especially if you. When did you move to LA?
I moved end of January 2015, and then headed back after 6 months, because that's how long my visa was. And then I moved here full time July last year.
How did you get a green card or like a permanent work visa? How does that process? It's a pain in the ass to get over here, isn't it?
Oh, you have no idea. I swear to God, you Americans love your security. It's honestly ridiculous. So I'm on a 3-year work visa at the moment that you're able to come over here. You can get your social security number. You can like buy a house. You can get a car. You can do everything like that a resident does. But you have to renew it after 3 years. So I mean, as long as I feel like the process is like, as long as you like pay your taxes and like, hey, I haven't gone to prison yet, like it should be all right to like renew. So
yeah,
here for 3 years, and then maybe I get deported. Who really knows? Because maybe Trump hates me by then.
No,
you know,
you're good. Look at you. Come on, you're fine. We almost waded into some territory there that I didn't really want to go, but
it's all good.
So how did you so you said you had originally had plans to do scores for movies. What's your what are some movies that stick out for you as having your favorite scores?
God.
Like I would go Mad Max #1.
Mad Max.
Pretty much all of Nolan's films.
True. Interstellar is a beyond classic.
Yeah.
I feel like even if you're not crazy into sort of film scores and music scores, like the Interstellar soundtrack is just incredible.
Oh, objectively, yeah.
It's insane. So I'd say, trying to think of what else. My mind's like blanking on me.
Were you always like a big movie fan?
Not honestly. It's weird because like I'm really bad when it comes to movies, but I studied music a lot, so I kind of like I watched the movies that I needed to watch, if that makes sense.
Sure. What instruments do you play?
Guitar for 8 years, and then I did like 2 classes of singing, and I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good.
I want to be a good singer though. Like I really want to be a good singer, and I'm just not, and I never will be. But it bums me out because I think like it's like piano and singing are the 2 areas of music that I would like to be good at. But with piano, it's like I tried learning a little bit a couple years ago, but it takes like such a time commitment to learn a new instrument like that, and it's just kind of tough.
And I feel like piano, out of all of them, piano is so versatile, but you also need to know like a little bit about like musical theory to kind of get the full experience of piano. Whilst guitar, like for me, I learned off tabs, which is like do you know what tabs is?
No.
So for guitar, instead of having to read like music notes and everything like that, tabs it's the same kind of layout. There's 6 bars, which is the 6 strings, and it tells you like there's just numbers where you need to put your fingers. So say it'll be like the G string, like there'll be like a 2.
Okay.
You know,
right.
Or like the E string, there'll be like a 7. You know, and you just like you just kind of go through from there. There's no like set time on like how long you need to hold the note for, but if you just listen to the song, you'll be able to get the timing down.
Okay, so
it's like a cheat code.
So it's like a what now?
It's kind of like a cheat code for guitar.
Well, that would make it like a lot easier. Like to me, like it wasn't the sitting down, because I actually went in for lessons a few times with the piano, but it was just learning how to read music that was really kind of tough for me to wrap my head around. So something like that would have been nice, but I don't know if that's even possible for piano. I
have no idea.
Like if we go back just a little bit, so you got into YouTube, you quit university, you had like about 80,000 subs at this time. And then at this point, did you have it in your mind, okay, this is something that I want to pursue full time, and then hopefully it blossoms into something, even more?
Yeah, exactly. So like when I dropped out, my mom saw like the amount of work I put in for the last few years behind the scenes. So she was like, yeah, like I understand this is what you want to do. This is your passion. I'll let you go home. But because my dad, he lives in Singapore, they're still together, but he lives out in Singapore. And he called me on the phone, and it's something I'll probably never forget, which he just said, son, if you want to fuck up your life, go for it. Just don't come crying back to me. And he just hung up the phone. So your dad
and my dad would get along phenomenal. Was your dad a military guy?
He's in the oil business.
Oh, he's in the oil business.
Yeah, he's oil, but it's like, it's funny how like I say that to people, but he's not like crazy, like rich. He's not crazy in like high up or anything. He's a very, very good job. But I mean, like when I was growing up, I was born in Dubai, in like a bungalow. In Thailand, I lived in like a little house. Singapore, I lived in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So that's why even though I'm British, I don't sound like it, just from like my past and whatnot. And I'm getting sidetracked to oblivion.
I'm glad I think I mentioned that to you before, but your accent's like really subtle. Like I was like a toss up in my mind. I'm like, it sounds like you might be from England, but I'm not sure.
It's like I sound very. I think the best compliment I've got from my accent is it's very cosmopolitan, and I'm like, yeah,
it sounds classy. I like it.
Yeah, like people like I kind of told people it's kind of like a mongrel accent, but that really just doesn't do any favors. So it's like if I say I'm from Northern Ireland, there's the accent. If I say I'm British, I forget the T. I don't mean to. It's just like it's little trigger words. It's the best way to describe it. It's little trigger words where it's like, you're not from here.
Dubai must have been. So they're doing some really cool stuff in Dubai right now. Like they have you seen the drone races that they do over there?
I actually me Terrorizer and the guys from Cora Digital, we actually flew out for the first drone races out there last year.
Shut up. You saw that live?
It was really interesting. Because like on the TV, it looked really cool, but then when like in person, the drones are tiny. Like,
but they're lit up like super bright, right? And they do the races at night, so they stand out.
Yeah, which is like, and they have like crazy LEDs, even like the rings and whatnot. They have crazy LEDs going on.
Yeah.
When you're watching it, you have no idea what's going on. It's just every once in a while, someone would scream when someone just eats shit.
Don't they use VR headsets for those too?
Yeah. So like, I met the guy who actually won it. The guy who won it is a father-son team, and the guy who was the driver was a 14-year-old.
Oh my God, that's
14,
so
13-year-old. Unreal. Because I mean, like, a lot of them were really, really young just because their reaction times are on point.
Yeah. I think they're also introducing like passenger carrier drones in Dubai. Like it's
what?
like, yeah, you know, like the self-driving cars, it's a fucking drone that picks up people and flies them somewhere, and it's all done automated. So like
that is so fucking sick.
I don't know if it's in Dubai or if that might have been China actually, but I'm pretty sure it's Dubai, but they're doing some like cutting edge shit over there.
Oh yeah. The weirdest one was whenever you order an Uber, there's Uber X, Uber Black, and then Uber Chopper, which I thought was amazing. So
no, there's enough of a market for private choppers that they just have an entire like Uber branch just dedicated to those.
I think so. Like,
that's crazy.
Every time we tried to call one, it says not available. So I was like, I don't know if they're working on it, but we kept like trying to get one, and it just never worked.
So it's an unreliable chopper service. Got it. That's good.
Exactly. It's just some drunken like 45-year-old dude, just like, hey, you want a chopper? Yeah, just crashes into the fucking crazy buildings that are over there. But the VR headset things like the kids are wearing, so like they have like a little camera right on the front of the drone.
Yeah.
And they basically just project whatever you see in the VR headset from the drone. And I remember like in the crowd, like they had little goggles. Every seat had like a pair of goggles that you could look through the different racers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was just like tripping balls of how fast these kids were doing this.
That's crazy.
Because when you watch it, you're like, oh, like kind of like anything else. Like when you're watching sport, you're like, I can do that. It's no problem. And then when you actually sort of like wear the goggles, you're like, no, nope.
Yeah, I mean the races look phenomenal. It looks really beautiful over there. So all right, so we've been talking a little while. I wanted to ask you a little bit, if I could abruptly switch gears here, just because we can't sit here and talk all day. But I wanted to talk to you about your accident, because you went through a real scary situation just recently, and you ended up being kind of okay. But you were involved in a traffic accident where you were walking along the street with a friend, and a truck basically hit you, right, and sent you flying into a pole, and that was man. Can you talk a little bit about that? I'm sure you've talked about it a bunch, but like,
I know it's all good. I mean, it's a part of my life now, so I don't mind talking about it. Yeah. But we were finishing up. It was my friend's birthday, and we were coming out of a bar. Both of us weren't that drunk because he got there late, and I'm trying to cut back on the amount that I drink just for kind of like weight purposes and like diet purposes. So like, we were like, it was close to my apartment. It was like 2 blocks away. So we got out of the bar. They already went home. We're like, don't just go back to like my apartment, because he lives like 30 minutes away. So we're just like, yeah, let's just go back to the apartment. We'll chill for a bit, and then you can get an Uber whenever. And it was that crosswalk. So it was traffic coming from, if we were walking south, it was traffic coming from west to east. So it was like the third lane of traffic over. We waited for the green light to go. We walked across the street, and it was a third lane over. This guy, I don't remember, because I remember a second before and a second after.
Yeah.
And from what the people said, he smashed into the both of us. It was a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. So like, it's not like a Prius, which is nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until like a week after. I was like, oh shit. And I flew about 40 feet from the crosswalk, and then I slid over and then hit a pole and came to a stop. And then my buddy Jay, he went 55 feet and stopped like dead center in the middle of the road.
Jeez, Pete. Man.
He was out for the count. I don't know if he was unconscious or if he was knocked out or whatever, but I remember even to this day, I physically remember sliding across the road and coming to a stop. Like, the fact that I didn't get knocked out was a goddamn miracle.
So you don't remember seeing it coming at all, or hearing it coming? It was just an instant impact before you even knew what was happening?
It was like, you always hear the cliches. It was just, it happened so fast. But then when it actually happened so fast, you're like, oh shit, they weren't lying. And I was laying there on the street, just like sort of facing this guy for a bit. I looked over at Jay. His leg was facing the wrong way. He was just like mangled to oblivion.
Yeah.
And so he got ambulanced away. And then people came running over to me like, yo, dude, like, you just got hit by a car. Like, what's your name? Where are you? It's like, okay, my name's Craig. I'm on this intersection. I know everything that's going on right now. I realized that I got away lucky. Go help my friend Jay.
Yeah.
Because I realized he was in so much of a worse situation. And about 5 minutes later, these guys were like calming me down and whatnot. And the ambulance came. They took him straight to hospital. But for me, I got into the back of the ambulance, and they were talking to me. And because I had adrenaline running through me like crazy, I couldn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
So they said to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, you look pretty good. I mean, we can just take you home if you want. Which for the fact that the paramedics to say that when I got hit by the same car, this guy whose legs facing the wrong way and unconscious has gone to hospital. But to me, they're like, yeah, you look good to go.
Yeah.
So they gave me a waiver to sign saying, yeah, I was asked if I wanted to go home and I said yes. I mean, I barely remember that.
Yeah.
But when you're running and high off your face on adrenaline, like you don't know anything, your brain doesn't work properly. So it's like, yeah, these guys are paramedics. Like they know what's going on.
Totally.
So
yeah.
They drove me back to the apartment. Somehow I managed to amble my way upstairs, and I lay down in bed, and that's when the adrenaline wore off. And I just lay there, and my body seized up. Everything just kind of hit me, and I was like, "This really isn't good."
Yeah.
So I called my buddy whose birthday it was, saying like, "Hey, do you mind coming to pick me up?" So I got hit by a car. You can come like pick me up in your car and whatnot. Because his girlfriend at the time, she wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, come pick me up. And they're like, nah, you're funny. I was like, no, help me.
Yeah.
Because they already went home. So they came running over, took me straight to hospital. Both of my legs, like I don't know how I didn't break anything, but both of my legs were just like swollen twice the size. Even now, like I still have problems with my right knee. It doesn't straighten properly anymore.
Yeah. Well, can you tell me like what do you remember what was going through your head sort of in the immediate hours after the accident? Because when you have that much adrenaline pumping, like was there something that you remember sticking out in your mind? Were you more thinking about your friend, or were you just kind of in shock and couldn't really think straight at all? I mean, that's a lot to process, getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
You know, like I have like if I was in that spot, I would probably be thinking like I could have just died right there, and I think that would have really messed me up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, I don't tell people, like, on Twitter and whatnot, because I try and keep somewhat professional on Twitter.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, not only was it, like, crazy physical damage, but the mental damage that does to you of, like, why me? Why did I get away in a, like, luckier scenario than Jay? Like, all this kind of shit, it goes through your head. So I was lying, like, in ICU for, like, 4 days, and they came in and checked my blood pressure every 30 minutes, checked my blood every hour. Yeah. Because my spleen just completely got ripped open. And it was just internally bleeding like crazy. And the doctor said like I was like 30 minutes away from having to go into surgery and shit.
No, that's terrible.
So having all of that was just insane. And it was just like pain I've never felt before. I mean, like I've dislocated my knee. I've like had crazy injuries from rugby and whatnot. But like the pain of just like, because you have to lie down, and because your spleen's kind of like in your sort of lower back, it doesn't matter what position you lie in bed, it's going to hurt. And you couldn't sit up because it hurts even worse. So you're just kind of stuck in like this endless cycle of pain.
So how did you get through that then? Because it didn't debilitate you. You still were able to function. You still were able to get back to your routine. Did you rely on friends a lot, or how did you kind of get through that tough time?
Well, my parents, they heard about it, and then they just got the next flight from the UK over. Same as Jay, he's from Boston. His dad flew over as soon as he heard. And I was in hospital for a total of a week. So ICU for 4 days and regular hospital for 3 days. But the 4 days in ICU, I mean, like I wasn't able to eat, I wasn't able to drink, I wasn't able to do anything like that. And then they gradually just took me off all the painkillers and whatnot. And then there was one night where, because I took painkillers every 4 hours, and there was one night where the painkillers they gave me was a different set of painkillers, and it didn't work at all. So
did they give you the morphine drip where you just press a button and you can self-administer?
They said they were gonna do that, but they never did, and I low-key hate them for it. Because they're like, yeah, don't worry, we'll get you on the morphine drip, everything will be good. And then that guy just never came back again. I was like, okay,
fucking guy. That was like the only good thing about having surgery. I've had surgery a couple times where I had to stay in the hospital for about 5 days, and the morphine drip is pretty much the only source of entertainment that you have while you're there. The hospital sucks. It's boring and it's awful, and yeah.
And like even for me, because like my glasses got smashed in the accident, so like my eyesight's really bad, so I couldn't see for like a week.
No.
So I couldn't even watch TV or anything in the hospital. I was like, this fucking sucks. And then there was one night, because I had so much, because I was drugged off my head, there was one night where my bodily functions just kind of stopped, as far as like going for a pee or going for a poo or whatever. Like I just physically could not do it.
Yeah.
So having to have a catheter put in when you're wide awake was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Oh, my friend, I understand. I understand your pain. You know what's even worse is when they come and take it out. That to me was like that. You have this old, very gentle man kind of grasping your shaft and then pulling a goddamn tube out of your penis. That's in. I didn't even realize it went that far in there. I mean, it's fucking in there. It's like 6 inches of catheter. It's the worst.
What do you call it as well? Oh, what was I gonna say? So were you awake when they put it in? Because for me, getting it put in was the worst part. Because when you get it pulled out, it's like half a second of just instant excruciating pain.
Oh yeah, I was asleep when they put it in. So
see, everyone who I've had this conversation with, everyone's like, yeah, I was asleep when they put it in. I was wide awake. So imagine that pain you felt going in for 20 seconds straight.
That's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah, so like it was 3 o'clock in the morning. They like it was kind of like they gagged me, like they put like, the little like ball of like foam or whatever it was.
Yeah,
and they just taped my mouth, just saying squeeze as hard as you can. And the guy who came in, he was like 35 years old, and he was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is going to hurt like hell. So just scream if you need to, scream into the foam. And I was like, it was like 3, 2, and then put it on 2. I'm like, you motherfucker!
Oh man.
So that was hell. And then whenever I got home, whenever I got like out of hospital, my mom stayed for an extra week. My dad had to go home because he was to work and whatnot, but she helped me just like get in and out of the shower. She helped me like get food, because like I was bedridden. Like I physically could not move. Like I watched 6 seasons of Game of Thrones in a week and a half.
I just do that normally, you know. It's just whatever.
It's like I have no time to watch TV shows normally. I'm just taking all of this and just watching the whole Game of Thrones.
Had you watched it before, or was that your first time?
That was my first time.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the way to do it, man. That's the benefit of that's the benefit of watching an old series, is you can just binge the whole thing in a week.
Exactly, because the funny thing was, most of the Game of Thrones show is shot in Northern Ireland and Croatia.
Yeah.
So like, you know, Dragonstone.
Is that a game or is that a show? What is
so
that?
it's a place in Game of Thrones. Is a place called Dragonstone.
Okay. Which spot is this? I've watched the show a couple times, but I don't have all the names down.
What do you call the lady in red? Oh god, what's her name?
Melisandre?
It's something like that, but you know, like they're kind of like HQ, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I follow you.
So there, that was the spot. That was the beach where I walked my dog back
oh,
home.
That's cool. Yeah, I love seeing some of my like my old hometown has been in a couple movies too, and it's really kind of a kick to see that.
Yeah, so like whenever I always meant to get around to watching it and never did. And then seeing my like beach, I was like I don't fanboy ever, but that was the one time in my life where I'm just like, yes, go beach.
Well, listen,
far too excited for the beach.
Well, listen, that whole experience sounds awful. But you don't sound crushed. You don't sound defeated. I mean, I guess my question to you to kind of close this thing out here would be, if someone was listening to this right now that went through like something really awful and terrible, what were some of the things that sort of got you through that and kept your morale at a place where you could still kind of function and be you know?
I mean, the best advice that I can give is you need to think. I know it's kind of very cliche, but in the sense that you need to think of the positives that came out. Like if you're going for an operation, if you're in hospital, if you're doing anything really in life and you're kind of getting yourself down, you need to think of the positives. Like for me, I got hit by a truck, so it's like I should, like, real talk, I probably should be dead right now. So you need to look at the positive in the sense that like I'm able to get through this. Jay was still alive. I'm still alive. I'm gonna make a full recovery. Even though you need to think of the positives, like, hey, I have time to watch TV shows now instead of like dwelling on the pain, dwelling on everything that's happened. Did
you find yourself kind of appreciating the relationships that you had more because of this experience?
Oh my God, yeah. So there's little things like everyone has those people that like you just don't really like, but for no real reason. And then whenever you sort of lie down in hospital, you kind of realize how petty that is. And how like, again, cliche, but like life is so short. Like, what is the point of being extraordinarily petty? Like, even like they've done nothing to you, but you just don't like them for some reason.
Yeah.
So like I've rekindled friendships, even just because of that. I actually go out a lot more now, just because I'm like, before I was so focused on work, so focused on everything, just trying to get myself up there. But now I'm like, I want to sort of go out more. I want to enjoy life. I want to like do the things that I sort of wanted to do. Yeah. Because it literally is so fast that your life can just go bang.
And that's a skill like that's really useful too in life, because you know life's just going to happen sometimes, and it happens to all of us in its own kind of weird way and on its own time. And if you can take those experiences and turn it into something that can transform you for the better, give you some more perspective to help you sort of like what you were talking about, let go of petty squabbles and old conflicts. Yep. If you can do that, those traumatic experiences you can turn them into tremendous assets. And it's a valuable lesson learned. It's good that you're learning that lesson at such a young age too. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I think something like that would have really kind of like wrecked me for a bit, but it was pretty inspiring to see you just like get back on that horse and like, keep doing you after everything. Like I remember like when it happened, I just found that story so horrifying, to have that happen in the middle of the night. You don't even know what happened. Oof. That's,
I remember there was, when I was going from ICU into the main hospital, the doctor, he was like 50, 55 years old. And he came over to me like all pridey on his high horse. Like, there was a good 12 hours where you could have died. And I'm like, I'm still in hospital. I'm still here. Why are you telling me this now? I understand this is a pride thing for you, but I'm still here.
I fixed you, bro. Isn't that awesome? I am the one that
saved your life. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Well, thanks again for your time, man. It's good to get a chance to like, get to know you a little bit here. And I'm in your neck of the woods now. Reach out and let's that barbecue, man. That barbecue that you posted, the picture. Holy crap, you made me so hungry, man. I opened up Twitter at like 8 p.m. on a Sunday night after I had already eaten dinner, and I was starving by the end of that. So
that's one thing that I know how to do really well is my dad taught me how to barbecue and like properly like marinate, garnish, whatever, a really good barbecue. So dude, like next time I have a barbecue, like you're more than welcome to come around. I got you on that one.
Hit me up. And thanks again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Of course. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for having me on.